of the reason why I asked Matt Jones to be the Minister of Affordability and Utilities is to give him a very broad reach to go across different ministries to identify problems so that he can resolve them. So very soon you're going to see more on electricity. We all know we've got big problems with the cost of distribution and transmission. He has also identified for me that we need to look at issues of increases in auto and property insurance. We also know housing affordability is going to be a big problem, especially as interest rates rise. So he's flagged that for me as an issue to look into. We've also looked at how we might be able to change or improve the child care proposal so that it includes more private daycares. That's one of the things that was missing, so that it includes more families able to get that support. So I must tell you, like, this minister is coming up with new ideas every day. Obviously, the issue around post-secondary and how we might be able to do some kind of relief on student loans, we have to figure out how we would structure that. So we're open to hearing any suggestion from Albertans about ways that we can address those pressure points. Those are just a handful of the ones that we are looking at. And if Albertans come up with other areas that they think that we've missed or that we need to provide more targeted support, we're absolutely open to doing that. We wanted to make sure that we had something that we could put into place this fall session so people could start receiving support right away. And that's, as Minister Jones has said, this is sort of the first step. As well, those who aren't getting direct payments are still going to benefit from about $900 worth of relief on the gas price guarantee, as well as the electricity rebates, as well as the suspension of the gasoline and diesel taxes. So we're hoping that provides enough support, but if it doesn't, we're prepared to look at it again for more. A lot of responsible employers who are rescinding vaccine mandates, and a lot of responsible vendors who are not discriminating against their customers, and I'm glad to see that. In fact, if there is still discrimination, I'd like to know about it, because and people should contact their MLAs, because we want to make sure that we're creating an environment where no one is discriminated against in this province for any reason. And so my sense of where we're at right now in Alberta is that most employers have made the responsible decision to not discriminate against their workers, and I'm glad to see that. And so the question becomes, what happens next time? Next time there's a novel virus. And when we're passing legislation, we have to make sure that we're passing it that's going to be able to stand the test of time for future issues, rather than trying to relitigate ones in the past. If this is one that is, by and large, one where we're no longer seeing discrimination, I'm pleased with that. I'm prepared to make changes if there are case-by-case issues. But I think the bigger issue that the people who supported me are asking for is, how do we ensure that we have a proper pandemic plan so that this doesn't happen again? And if just making this one change to this one piece of legislation isn't going to be adequate, that's what I determine. We're going to have to make probably substantive changes to a number of pieces of legislation. And so I didn't want to do this, as I got deeper into the discussion with my caucus, didn't want to do this as a bit of a slapdash measure. I want to make sure that we're solving this problem for the future. So there'll be more to come. And I think my supporters will understand why it is that I've made these decisions once they see the approach that we're taking. In addition, I would say my supporters wanted to see us change the leadership in the Chief Medical Officer of Health. I did. They wanted me to make sure that we were addressing the foundational problem for why it is that we were proposed these restrictions in the first place, which was the management at Alberta Health Services, which was incapable of dealing with surge capacity. And I have asked the board to step aside and put in place an official administrator, and we are actively working on that file. So I think people understand that there's a lot of different ways that we have to address some of the things that went wrong over the last 2.5 years. And what I proposed was not going to be sufficient, so I need to do something more fulsome.